The day Samuel Green, came out, Eric Hunter was drinking with my brother, Liam Woods, mocking me as a gullible romantic fool. One was my lover, the other my lifelong rival. I'd thrown myself into love with Starry, I'd hope, only to rip myself away like carving poison from bone. Yet here he was, crawling back like some pathetic stray. The private room buzzed with celebration. They were toasting Liam, the bastard son who'd usurped the Woods family empire, while I, the legitimate heir who'd outshone him at every turn, had been disowned for publicly declaring my sexuality. Their laughter scalded. What an idiot, getting himself disinherited over some dick. They weren't wrong. I'd been reckless with courage, determined to hold my lover's hand in daylight. Even bought a ring. Now that same lover sat silent beside Liam as they jeered. Gotta hand it to Eric. Someone slurred. Played the honey trap perfectly. Flew back from Milan the second Liam needed help. Glasses clinked. To the master manipulator. The crystalline clink when Eric raised his drink echoed through my ribs. Something fragile shattered. I kicked the door open. Silence crashed over the room. Grabbing a champagne bottle, I leveled it at Eric Hunter. Explain. He sat wax pale, motionless. A bespectacled lackey sneered. Still don't get it? Eric never wanted your faggot ass. You were just Liam's stepping stone. Liam's cronies cackled, but I kept staring at Eric until he rasped. I thought we understood each other. The bottle felt solid in my grip. Good. His pretty boy face split open on the first swing. Chaos erupted, hands grabbing, bodies lunging. I broke a nose with a crystal ashtray, shattered teeth with a vodka bottle. When they called me a rabid dog, I bit deeper. Samuel's gone psycho. Someone screamed as I staggered out, left arm dangling. Might have heard Eric calling through the blood in my ears. Might have imagined it. Woke to a grinning stranger. Name's Alex Taylor, said the man with sun-bleached hair and sailor's shoulders. My husband and I found you bleeding on Sunset Boulevard. His casual husband made me glance instinctively for a wedding band. Before my eyes could drop lower, a mountain of muscle stepped into view, 6'5" of tattooed biceps blotting out the hotel suite lights. This was my first time meeting Max Carter. For a moment, I thought I was staring at a bear. Max growled, "Kid, you fight like you've got nothing to lose. That desperate for cash?" I hadn't been before. But after getting kicked out of the Woods family and spending every last dime on that engagement ring, I was practically broke. When I nodded, Max turned to Alex Taylor with puppy dog eyes. "Babe, we messed up. Picked up a penniless stray." How did this hulking bear, who'd been growling seconds ago, suddenly sound like a whiny toddler? His bone-crushing hug gave me a headache. Alex had the patience of a saint. During my 3-day hospital stay, I told him about my 30 years. Simple enough, smooth sailing till 29. Met a guy. Thought love conquered all. Came out bravely only to realize I'd been played for a fool. I stayed dry, eyed through the telling, but Alex cried. The ultimate wife guy immediately jumped up. "Don't cry, babe. I'll kill him." Said it easier than cracking peanuts. Alex stopped him like clockwork. "How many times must I tell you? You need to stay lawful and work honestly." Max finished obediently, earning a head pat. Me, honestly? Looked like dog training to me. Alex invited me to France with them. Really, it was Max's push. Wanted me working at his company after I helped tweak his business proposal. Said he couldn't let talent slip away. I agreed. Not like I had options. The whole city was laughing at me. Couldn't face that shame. France sounded like decent exile. My father had been playing happy families with Liam Woods, that bastard's son, for years. Nothing kept me here anymore. I wanted to leave immediately, but Alex insisted. "Hold on. Need to take this dumb dog to an exhibition first. You should tidy up loose ends too." Nothing left to pack. I shrugged. The Woods clan had reclaimed everything except this apartment. Alex patted my shoulder. "Clean up properly. We leave in 3 days. Fine, whatever floats their boat." I checked out early. Hospitals reminded me of my mother wasting away in hospice after learning about Liam's existence. That antiseptic stench turned my stomach. Back at the apartment, my last asset. Prime location. Bought for easier cohabitation with Eric Hunter. should fetch good money. Pushing open the door, I locked eyes with Eric slouched on the couch. He forced a tired smile like our history of lies and betrayal never happened. Samuel, you're home. Hungry? I'll cook. Nauseating. I brushed past him to the kitchen. He trailed after me like an eager golden retriever. Where've you been, babe? He called me babe during intimate moments. Knew I was gay, but never expected to fall for someone 5 years younger. Thought it was cute then. Now realized his sweet talk came easier than my cigarette breaks. I spun around and decked him. Full force punch to the nose. He took it without flinching, grinning through the blood. Feel better now? He expected my anger. Expected forgiveness too. Probably because I'd loved him so fiercely this past year. He forgot his place. My bad. I turned my head and threw another punch. This time with more force, sending him crashing to the floor. The back of his head hit the kitchen door with a loud bang, yet he kept laughing as he slid down. Sweetheart, let me take you out for dinner tonight? Didn't you mention wanting to try that rooftop restaurant? I made reservations. I had indeed said that. 2 days ago, after being kicked out of the Woods family estate, nearly getting my legs broken by that old bastard's cane, I'd spent my last dime buying an engagement ring. I'd even tried booking that damn restaurant with what remained, foolishly imagining proposing to Eric there. I'd planned to tell him that even without the family fortune, we could build a happy life together. That I only cared about him, not money or status. Now I'm just grateful I never said those words. Would have made me look even more pathetic. These days, all I care about is money. I need to sell this apartment and the ring, recoup my losses, then expand my business in France. As I moved to leave, Eric grabbed my pant leg. Blood streaked across his annoyingly perfect face, fresh bruises standing out against pale skin. For a heartbeat, I remembered our first meeting. That night at the bar. His white tee clinging to defined muscles under neon lights. My brilliant plan to accidentally spill a drink on him went sideways when he stumbled. My entire cocktail ended up drenching his jeans. The way that fabric clung to his thighs almost made me reconsider. But then his pinky hooked mine and my brain short-circuited. Need something? I'd asked, feigning indifference when really my pulse raced like a hummingbird's wings. His lips curved. Need you. Next thing I knew, we were in a hotel room with his teeth at my throat. Golden light cast shadows across his face as he murmured, "Trust me," against my skin. I let him peel off my dress shirt, too busy noticing his clumsy fingers with the condom wrapper. Inexperienced but enthusiastic. Worth every penny of the $10,000 check I left next morning. Generous but not stupid. That was only a year ago. Eric proved relentless, clinging like a golden retriever who mistook me for his owner. My mistake was thinking him harmless. Now I study his battered face, still stupidly attractive, and offer sincere advice. You should consider acting. Eric. That face. Those eyes. Where did Liam even find you? As I try stepping over him, Eric suddenly lunges. The world spins until I'm pinned beneath him, his hand cradling my head before it could hit the tiles. At least he remembered my recent hospital stay. 3 days comatose after the accident Liam arranged. Wouldn't want a relapse. His breath ghosts over my lips. Still running? Still delusional. I counter, kneeing him where it counts. His pained grunt brings visceral satisfaction. We're done playing house. Eric. Keep the ring, it's fake anyway. The hurt flashing across his face almost seems genuine. Almost. But I know better now. While he's doubled over, I grab the emergency cash stash and my passport. Let Liam have his pretty pawn. Europe's waiting, and this time, I'm playing by my rules. I was forced to tilt my head back to look at him. During the prolonged silence, Eric's breathing grew increasingly heavy and rapid. His eyes reddened alarmingly. I stated matter-of-factly, if you want to fight, at least don't resort to cheap ambush tactics. That's low. Eric's panting intensified. I genuinely worried he might have an asthma attack and drop dead on me. Fine if he dies, but not on my watch. After what felt like an eternity, his fingers started fumbling with my shirt buttons. Seriously? This animal. I gripped his wrist hard enough to snap it. Eric, sleeping with a rigid man has zero appeal. Don't do yourself this disservice. He'd stayed silent when those jerks in the private room mocked me with that exact line. What's with this sudden hormonal surge now? Eric chuckled darkly, tension draining from his shoulders. I never said those things. They were spouting nonsense. Don't listen. When I didn't respond, he captured my other hand. Still mad? I'll call them out later. Beat them up however you want until you feel better. He nuzzled my palm like a contrite puppy. This moment felt eerily familiar. Like that museum visit years ago when I'd fallen for a pristine porcelain vase, only to later discover it was shattered and glued back together. Watching something precious rot before your eyes serves as a brutal reminder. See? Everything you cherish turns to garbage. I had nothing left to say. Since overhearing that betrayal in the private room, all desire to confide in Eric had evaporated. Yet this mad dog kept pinning me down. I sighed. You're hurting me. Get off. Eric's eyes lit up. He buried his face in my neck, his fluffy hair tickling as he grinned. Sweetheart, I'm starving. Playing dumb. Countered. Me too. His nuzzling paused. Eric helped me up, his arms encircling me from behind. Wait a bit. I'll make noodles. I nodded, then escaped to the kitchen. 3 days until departure. With preparations needing attention, I couldn't waste more time on him. After locking myself in the bedroom, I only emerged when my delivery arrived. Exiting, I found a steaming bowl on the table. Eric glared at my takeout bag like it contained anthrax. Spotting me, he forced a ghastly smile. Takeout's unsanitary. Let me trash it. Was he insane? Trash my food so I'd eat his dreadful cooking? I lunged protectively over my spicy crawfish. No thanks. Your cooking sucks. Eric's smile died. But you used to love it. Of course I did. Back then, him merely attempting to cook would have thrilled me. I'd have eaten arsenic noodles with compliments. Now, I just wanted to savor my meal in peace. Back with the Woods family, I craved greasy comfort food constantly. But their rules strangled even stray dogs passing by. Different story now. Me, Samuel Green, the family's notorious black sheep. No more surveillance. No more beatings for tarnishing family honor. Hell yeah. Eric sat opposite, peeling crawfish like some deranged sous chef. Insanity. Half the joys in sucking the shells before peeling. He ruined 2 pounds worth, though I happily devoured the rest. My post-meal belch was interrupted by the doorbell. Few knew this place I'd once gleefully called Eric's and my home. My wary glance met Eric's reassuring smile. Don't worry. They're here to apologize. The man still didn't get it. Apologies couldn't fix this. He still thought I was merely angry. The door opened to reveal 3 neatly aligned figures. The same jerks who'd beaten me in the private room. I scanned the group. Bandaged heads. Arms in casts. Even one still on crutches. Pathetic. I'd taken down 3 guys single-handedly back then. Guess I've still got it. The thought made me chuckle. Eric perked up like a bloodhound catching scent. Baby, he crooned. If you're still pissed, feel free to pound them again. The 3 flinched but kept their heads bowed. None of that smugness from when they'd mocked me in the VIP room. Any method I want? I asked seriously. Absolutely. Eric smiled. Their faces paled. Clearly they'd been warned beforehand. How generous, I remarked. Gifting your attack dogs for my amusement. Your satisfaction matters most. Eric replied smoothly. I spread my hands. Where are my tools? Expecting me to use bare fists? When Eric slid over a crate of liquor bottles, their composure shattered. One of them stammered. Eric, we're still injured. The bottle smashed against his temple before he could finish. The other 2 froze as their companion collapsed howling. Amusing. They'd probably expected performative groveling, not realizing their master's leash had slipped. Hefting a bottle heavier than the KTV ones, I approached. The remaining 2 trembled but held their ground, not fearing me, but the man behind me. How pathetic that my own reputation had eroded to this. Glass shards sprayed as I slammed the bottle down. Right on cue, Liam entered, frowning at the chaos. He moved toward Eric with practiced ease. What's this about? Taking the broken bottle from Eric's hand, his touch lingered. Almost romantic. These are lifelong friends. Liam chided me. Maybe they spoke carelessly, but this? I smashed the bottle across his pretty face. The crack echoed beautifully. He stumbled back into Eric's arms, the picture of wounded innocence. Eric instinctively shielded him. This doesn't involve. Another bottle met Eric's temple. Twin blood trails bloomed as they clung together, star-crossed lovers in a bad tragedy. Get out, I said calmly. When Eric hesitated, I pointed at Liam's bleeding brow. Unless you want your precious first love bleeding out here. The color drained from Eric's face. Not so secret after all. 3 days ago, after Alex hospitalized me, an anonymous video arrived. Grainy footage of younger Eric at some dive bar, mooning over Liam while their buddies toasted. Only our Eric would play gay for Liam's inheritance. True love conquers all. Cheers erupted for their pure-hearted warrior. And me? Just the disposable old creep who fell for the act. I recognized Eric's outfit in the video immediately. It was the custom suit I'd ordered for him during our 3rd month together to celebrate landing that major project. The Woods family threw a victory party for my success. Ironic, considering I'd snatched that deal right from their incompetent illegitimate son Liam. Even more twisted, my proud boyfriend hadn't even changed clothes before rushing from my celebration to comfort Liam at his pity party, lying about urgent lab work at school. Everyone knew Eric's childhood obsession with Liam. His entire charade of dating me while hiding his true identity was meant to force me out of the closet and make the Woods family disinherit me. The whole world remembered how the Hunter family's wild child would only obey his childhood friend Liam during their H-City days. They'd all watched Eric's dramatic, unrequited love saga unfold. Everyone except me. Looking back, the signs were obvious. I'd just been too blind to see. Now Eric emerged from the heavy silence with a strained smile, panic poorly concealed beneath. Who told you? When I stayed silent, he lunged at random accusations. Was it you? The accused man stumbled backward, hands raised in defense. Liam pressed a hand to his injury, voice trembling. Eric, my head, so dizzy. Even I felt a twinge of sympathy at that fragile performance. Eric's gaze darted between my expressionless face and Liam's pitiful act before he blurted, "Baby, I'll explain everything later." He hurried out supporting Liam, trailed by 3 lackeys shooting triumphant smirks my way, as if his choice would shatter me. The truth? I'd secretly summoned Liam precisely to take this mad dog off my hands. Let someone else get bitten. I reset the security codes, cleaned the trashed living room for future buyers, and returned Eric's expensive liquor collection for extra cash. Each task brought numb clarity. My strike against Liam had been calculated both payback and insurance to keep Eric occupied. Childhood sweethearts should stick together through injuries, right? Thanks to Liam's sacrifice, I enjoyed 2 peaceful days purging my life. 31 years here, yet so little worth keeping. On moving day, Eric returned. Specifically, he threw a tantrum at the changed locks until I let him in. Reeking of hospital antiseptic, he shoved me onto the couch, hair falling over furious eyes. You're selling our home? Why? His agony confused me, as if this house held deeper meaning. I shrugged. None of your damn business. Thank God he'd refused when I tried adding his name during my lovesick phase. Saved me nightly regret. At my words, Eric's grip tightened on my shoulders, veins bulging as his gaze turned predatory. My free hand inched toward his neck one move and I'd strike the carotid for a 5-minute escape window. Suddenly, he seized my wandering hand, intertwining our fingers with a tender smile. I was getting this. The plain band on his ring finger glinted my own craftsmanship from better days. My stomach turned. Samuel is such a loser. Can't even keep a man around. He lied to me too, sending daily updates about Eric taking care of him at the hospital. Made me lower my guard completely. What the hell? That idiot's completely deranged. Eric grabbed my hand, swiftly sliding another platinum band onto my finger. He raised our joined hands, watching the twin rings gleam under the chandelier light with that sickeningly sweet smile. Samuel, he crooned. I was wrong before. After we returned the Woods family assets to Liam, let's just focus on our life together. Okay. I stayed silent. He kept rambling. I've got money, my family's assets are just overseas. After graduation, I'll take you back to the ancestral estate. Those gossipy relatives? We'll cut them off if you want. Please stop being mad at me. I'll never lie to you again. As if betrayal could be erased with empty promises. Like I'd suddenly forget all the deception and happily hand over the woods conglomerate I'd built from scratch. Is okay. Wasn't a question, just another demand disguised as affection. I stared at this man spinning sugar-coated fantasies and said flatly, "No. I refuse. Eric, I'm not some trash receptacle for damaged goods. You outplayed me, I'll concede the woods empire to Liam. God knows that idiot couldn't keep it afloat without resorting to underhanded tactics anyway. But expecting me to play house with my deceiver?" My laugh turned bitter. "Sorry, I haven't sunk to your level of depravity yet." Eric's plastic smile shattered. Before I could react, his python-like grip trapped me against his chest, ribs creaking under the pressure. His whisper chilled my soul. "So the Paris ticket? You plan to leave without me?" Of course he'd investigated everything. Between international jewelry runs and digging through my affairs, he'd been busy. And Liam, that useless first love I'd hoped would keep Eric occupied these final days? Pathetic as always. Why so quiet? Eric shook me, madness glinting in his eyes. "Weren't you the one swearing eternal love? Promising to abandon everything for me? I'd meant those sweet nothings when we were lovers. Now they curdled in my throat. What twisted game was this sudden obsession? With my flight tomorrow afternoon and no power left, I forced calm. "You lied to me." His grip faltered. Pressed. "Shouldn't I be angry?" As his scrutiny burned, I maintained stone-faced composure. Eric's mouth softened, showering desperate kisses across my face. I endured the slobbering like a rabid dog's affection until he tried undoing my shirt. "No." I shoved him away. He chuckled darkly, nuzzling my neck. "I knew you couldn't resist me. Samuel, I'll accompany you to Paris tomorrow. Buy you anything, make it up to you. I stayed silent, letting him delude himself. Though his embrace made my skin crawl, I needed rest for tomorrow's battle. As drowsiness claimed me, feverish lips brushed mine in shaky apology. "Samuel, I never knew I'd fall this hard. You'll forgive me, right? You have to. You love me too much not to." Forgive? The word dissolved into darkness. Eric truly didn't understand my temperament. He had happily packed his luggage to accompany me to France, framing it as me taking a mental break while he made amends. Perhaps my acting was too convincing, for even when Alex and Max appeared at the airport, Eric remained oblivious. He was still explaining, "Liam saved my life once. I mistook that gratitude for something else. I know you've always clashed with him. We'll cut all ties." Okay. When Max's bodyguards pinned him down, Eric still tried shielding me. "Samuel, run first." He never finished. I'd already kicked his back, dislodging the phone he'd been reaching for. The device skidded across the floor as Eric's enraged eyes locked onto me, fingers clawing at my pant leg like a wounded animal. "Samuel, honey." Standing beside Alex, I watched Max sneer down at Eric. "So this is the trash you mentioned?" My nod triggered Eric's violent lunge at Max. "Who the hell do you think you are?" Bodyguards slammed him back down, fists hammering his abdomen until his curses dissolved into retching. Drenched in sweat yet still glaring murder at Max, Eric choked out, "Take whatever you want, just don't hurt Samuel." Max snorted, jerking a thumb at me. "Still lying to yourself? You're the only one who ever hurt him." When Eric turned those shattered eyes upward, voice gravel rough with desperation, "You won't leave me, right, honey?" I answered flatly, "Like hell." The moment I overheard your lies at the club, whatever love existed rotted into hatred. Know why Liam grew up alongside you? Because I drove that mistress bastard son out myself. Poetic, isn't it? Max actually applauded. Wood's family's heir doesn't disappoint, except in taste for boyfriends. He tossed me a gun like handing out snacks. Wanted to handle this myself, but you deserve the catharsis. Eric's gun trembled in his grip as he pleaded, "Honey, come home. I'll change." The gunshot cut him off. His beautiful eyes widened, tears spilling as he collapsed. While his panicked bodyguards scrambled, I called after them, "He'll live. if you reach the hospital fast enough. Max was already ushering Alex away, quipping about scheduling more date nights now that I'd handled the pest. The last thing I saw was Eric's blood seeping across airport tiles, his outstretched fingers still twitching toward where I'd stood. The moment the plane took off, I gazed out at the sea of clouds. Alex handed me a cup of warm water. "This might help," he said. Minutes later, a tissue appeared in my line of sight. I unfolded it slowly, pressing the crisp paper against my face until dampness seeped through the fibers. When I finally lowered it, my eyes were dry. I wasn't crying over him. I insisted. These tears mourned my delusional romance, my 30-something self standing alone at life's crossroads. Alex nodded. "I know, but you should also mourn your rebirth. Paris has a way of—" He paused, mischief crinkling his eyes. "There's this fascinating digital artist I met online. He's visiting next week. You'll like him." At my silence, he chuckled. "Relax. Not a setup. Just reminding you love isn't life's ultimate prize. Sometimes it's not even in the top 3. Sunlight shattered through the clouds. I closed my eyes, letting the brilliance scorch away the shadows. Then what happened? Max mumbled around his rib bone, sauce glistening on his chin. I rolled my eyes. "You know the rest." "Wait, the gossip blogs said you chased Eric to the airport. That some security guard was my brother's convenient fiction." I flicked breadcrumbs off the tablecloth. Max needed to save face with the Woods family. Never expected Eric would let the lie stand. Max nearly choked. "Holy shit. And here I thought we were both pathetic simps. You're way more hardcore." "Different kind of pathetic," I muttered. Alex had been right, we took love seriously. Too seriously. As we cleared the dishes, Max yanked the curtains shut. Mad Dog's still parked across the street. "Walk tonight?" "Why not? When's he leaving?" "Soon." Since Eric's explosive return to New York, he'd become corporate America's nightmare, dismantling the Woods family's holdings, clawing market share from Liam himself, burning bridges with surgical precision. Then he dumped his entire company in my lap. Everyone assumed I was Eric's secretary, tolerating his presence for that sweet 5-figure monthly salary. Jokes about my golden handcuffs circulated at every charity gala. Let them laugh. However repulsive I found Eric personally, the man was Wall Street's apex predator. Having him grow my fortune while I sipped Bellinis in Santorini? Delightful. Until last month's gallery opening. The painter was 25, all messy curls and paint-splattered Chuck Taylors. His courtship involved terrible poetry and worse macarons. 2 dates in. I'm already planning our Mediterranean yacht trip. Hence tonight's feast, celebrating my second spring. Max eyed the champagne. Going public? What if he? Let him try. I smiled, polishing a steak knife. I've been collecting leverage since college. The world burned bright outside. I'd been bitten, yes badly, but the scars made excellent armor. Life stretched before me, glittering and infinite, and I intended to devour every last crumb.